This is one of my corn snakes, Polaris. Isn't he adorable? He's going to help me today, because lately I've been struggling to do my practice prompts, and I decided he can help by, choosing for me. So, let's see what he chose. The options are a pile of bones, found family, the sentence, "We've been here before," and the number 7. Let's see which Polaris will choose. He seemed to really like to follow the grooves of the couch, so maybe next time I'll have to choose a different surface so he just doesn't go to the one that's directly along those grooves. But today, Polaris chose the number 7. So let's see what we can do with that prompt. Now introducing the Tree of Etheneli. The tapestry on the wall contained 4 figures, the king standing proudly in front of Etheneli, the tree the kings of old nurtured through the kingdom's early years. Its immense branches wove across the fabric, strong and verdant all these centuries later. Beside the king stood his wife, the fine details making up her violet gown faded in places, worn from years of the same hand trailing over it again and again. On the other side of the king was his daughter, golden threads stretching through the tree's branches and dappling across her form. She looked elegant, and even amidst the cloth she was enamored with the man standing next to her. Prince Linus stood tall, as steady as the tree he and his future wife would take guardianship over in 7 days' time. Ida had been there the day the tapestry had been hung in the princess's room, a week after her betrothal had been announced. She had seen it every day since then, and yet her eyes couldn't help but be drawn to it. She couldn't help but think about how resplendent they all looked together, a beacon of stability for the citizens of Amandir to admire for decades to come. "Ida, are you listening to me? Ida?" She blinked, dipping her head in apology as she continued brushing Princess Oriana's hair. "I'm sorry, Your Highness." "Stop calling me that, Ida. You know better." Ida put the brush down and started braiding the auburn locks. That is the customary way to address a princess, man. Oriana turned, her silk skirts trailing across the plush carpet as she glared up at the maid. But it is not how sisters address each other. Her eyes widened, and she placed a hand over the other girl's mouth. "Shh! Someone might hear you." The princess rested her chin on the back of the vanity chair. "Who? The guards, for one." The princess snorted, smoothing out her skirts as she stood. "These stone walls are thick enough that I could shout and no one would hear me." "That's not true." "Isn't it?" Oriana walked across the room, stopping before the tapestry. Her fingers trailed against the thick weave. "I remember the day that father brought you to me, a sister of my very own. Mother had been gone nearly a year, and the world seemed so bleak." A pained smile flitted across her face. "Despite your matted hair and the layers of grime, I couldn't help but be in awe of this little girl who I'd get to play with." Ida came to stand beside her and looked at her sister with a raised brow. "We were born 4 months apart." Oriana's long sleeve swished through the air as she jabbed her in the ribs. "Still older." She pulled Ida in close, ignoring her soft groan of pain. "It took you a week to make me laugh again." Ida smiled, resting her head against her sister's shoulder. "It was so loud. It was perfect." Oriana took her hand. "Which is why next week you will be made my lady-in-waiting." "What? That can't be." Ida took a step back, practically stumbling over her own feet in her shock. "That position is reserved for women of noble birth." "You are a woman of noble birth." "Not officially." She tried pulling her hand away, but Oriana only held tighter. "Father hasn't so much as looked at me since the day that he brought me to the palace." "Well, that's about to change." Oriana was bouncing on her heels, the half-done braid giving way to loose curls. "You'll be part of the court, dressed in the finest clothes and able to dance the night away." "Father would never agree to that." "He will. He has." She squealed, her eyes shining. "He's going to speak with you about it today, but I couldn't wait to tell you." She pulled Ida closer to the tapestry, standing her before it and taking a step back, examining her as if she was preparing to paint her portrait. Ida stared at her, eyes wide, as she tried and failed to comprehend the last few minutes. The air felt like it was burning in her lungs, and she forcibly exhaled, stretching her tense fingers out. "I don't know if I can do this." Oriana rushed forward, enveloping her hands within her own. "Of course you can." She twirled her around so that they were facing the tapestry. "And one day soon you will take your rightful place before the tree of Etheneli as a princess of Amandir." A knock rang through the room, and Ida felt a wave of nausea overtake her. She turned wide eyes on her sister, only to be pulled into a tight hug. It took her a moment to respond, pulling the other woman in close. Her nails dug into silk fabric until Oriana pulled back, resting her forehead on Ida's. "Everything's going to be okay."